Okay, guys, some breaking news here at HBCU Game Day. More potential conference realignment. There was a Board of Trustees meeting on Thursday night at North Carolina A&T State University where it was recommended, now seeking board approval for North Carolina A&T to leave its new digs. I mean, still brand new smell going on in the Big South, and potentially headed to the CAA. Our Stephen J. Gaither covered it all. Stephen, you were on the Zoom all evening taking notes. We kind of knew this was on the way earlier in the week. Give us a quick synopsis of the pitch for leaving potentially the Big South for North Carolina A&T.
Yeah, Tolly. It's been a situation again we've been following for months actually. Back to the fall when there was rumors that the CAA was looking to expand. We heard about Howard. We heard about Hampton, who obviously made the move. North Carolina A&T at the time, Earl Hilton told me back in October that they hadn't spoken to anyone. And then on the presentation, he explained that it was only in November. So a little bit, my call was a little bit premature, but nonetheless, the CAA reached out to them. And, you know, he said in his presentation there were a lot of different factors, but obviously the loss of not only Hampton, which a lot of people are talking about, but obviously the loss of Monmouth, as well as some of the other folks who they already knew were going to be leaving, created a situation where North Carolina A&T felt that they had to act. Obviously, you know, one of the big things about the move was to moving to the Big South was to compete in the playoffs, auto bids and things like that. And so with that in jeopardy, you know, they felt like the time was right. The opportunity was there. And they had enough schools that were close enough to them that they could justify the move. So here we are.
If they do get the board approval, which they'll have to meet again, what is the geographic footprint if North Carolina A&T finds itself in the CAA? Everybody, CAA, not CIAA. This is how rumors get started. CAA. What is the footprint of that conference?
Yeah, well, it starts at Charleston, South Carolina, the College of Charleston, and then it goes all the way up to Boston, Massachusetts. Yeah, so I know, you know, if you follow this long enough, you know, when they left the MEAC, a big reason why they said was because of the travel and the student athletes being on the road so much. And the footprint is actually bigger here, one of the few FCS conferences that is bigger. But, you know, they are also looking at divisional formats. And so, of course, you know, they've got not only Hampton that will be close to them, but also even closer. You and I both know Elon over there in Burlington, as well as UNC Wilmington and a couple other schools. So, you know, it's going to be a big footprint, but they're hoping that divisional gap, which they did not have in the MEAC, is going to be something that will, you know, keep them from going too many trips to Boston or to New York or to New Jersey.
Okay, this again will need board approval. It is nowhere near a done deal just yet, but AD Hilton, Earl Hilton, said out of the gate on his presentation that he does recommend it. So those winds of change are blowing already. What do you think this does, Stephen, in your opinion, to the identity of North Carolina A&T, which has been shifting over the last couple of years, or at least the perception of it?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, North Carolina A&T under Chancellor Harold L. Martin, and we both know him from his time at Winston-Salem State and all the things he's done. I think he, along with Dr. Harvey over at Hampton, are, you know, visionary and transformative leaders. They focus on leaving an impact, and obviously the impact they've had on their institutions has been well documented. And I think, you know, a couple of years ago when we saw the move to the Big South, a lot of heads were scratched. But obviously North Carolina A&T is headed on a trajectory that is on its own. You know, a lot of people will say that they maybe made this move to trail Hampton, but, you know, the fact is North Carolina A&T is an emerging power in the state of North Carolina. Not only athletically, we've seen the football program, you know, do a lot of winning. Obviously, they've got Olympians, but, you know, just the entire school as a whole is really transforming, and he's all about being transformative. And then you have A.D. Hilton there who, you know, painted a good picture there for sure about why this was the time to act now. You know, again, the stickers on the floor at Corbett Center still probably got a little MEAC residue, you know, because it's been that quickly since they've moved. But I think, they trust their leadership, and they're acknowledged that there were some holes in the plan. The schools in the CAA spend a lot more money budget wise on athletics, but they did talk about how big enrollment is going to play in that. And if you've watched the entire meeting, they also talked about getting the cap lifted on out-of-state students and things like that. So I think North Carolina A&T, this kind of fits where they're going as a university, just as far as maybe not necessarily taking off some of the boundaries that maybe it has had in the past, and a lot of other HBCUs have had as well. And they would have a like-minded school in a lot of ways in Hampton with them.
Okay, final question for you here, Stephen J. Gaither. Are there FBS aspirations? I've seen fans kind of comment on your article and throughout social media. How big do you think A&T ultimately wants to be with their athletic program?
Well, I mean, I think that obviously is where the most money is. That's where the most prestige athletically is. And so, North Carolina A&T, I think they would love to be there. I think, it's going to be I think they're trying to go about it incrementally. We saw FAMU about 20 years ago try to do it all at one time, and that kind of crashed and burned on them. And not that these are the same people or the same circumstances or situations, but I think, again, you talk about Dr. Harold Martin, you talk about Earl Hilton and the apparatus surrounding North Carolina A&T. I think they're very thoughtful and methodical about it. I don't think they ever plan to stay in the Big South forever anyway. And so I think for them, they are just, I think they are, would love to get to that point. A part of the reason that they are, going to the CAA now, or that the CAA has had to open up and look a little bit further, is because they had a team in James Madison who went on to the FBS, and they've had some others as well. So I think this will be a good springboard for them. They got to get their enrollment up, which they're working really hard to do. They're the largest HBCU with over 13,000 people, but there are a couple schools in the CAA who have over 20,000. So I think it's in line with the goals that they're doing. And I think a lot of people may have been a little bit upset that the MEAC, according to the presentation, wasn't even on the map. But I think you would be surprised if it was, considering it's the same leadership that just left just 2 years ago now as we talk.
Hey, coming soon, Lute Williams with the microphone in front of Sam Washington. I can't wait to see that reaction.
Yeah, it's just, I guess right now, as long as they bring him his money, it'll make it work.
Bring me my money. All right, you can check out his article at HBCUGameDay.com. Stephen J. Gaither all over North Carolina A&T's discussions, seeking board approval now to leave the Big South to head over to the Colonial Athletic Association. Of course, this is a story we'll monitor right here at HBCU Game Day. Good work, Stephen. Thank you for your time.